So, do you want to know how the one simple trick is to make more money like Don did this weekend? Don ended up making $1,000 more by doing this one little simple trick that I am going to talk about here later on tonight here as we get going. Because Don did this one thing, he took action, and by doing this, he had made over $1,000 by adding this one little trick. And you might say, Jason, what is that trick? And so I will tell you what this one trick is. And if you think you know what this trick is, put it in the comments. I want to hear what your thoughts are. Was the one little trick he did that ended up making him over $1,000 more than he would have by doing this one trick. And so with that, we will get started here and learn how you can grow your pressure washing business, how you can get it to the next level, how you can keep going and keep moving up and growing your business. My camera is off here a little bit. I'm going to move it up here a little bit. Actually, I'm going to move it down a little bit because then I can't see my questions. So with that, let's see. This is Jason Geiman, and I am here to help you grow your business. I'm here to help you get you to where you need to be at. And so right now, I am working 75 hard. I am on day, what day is 23? I'm on day 25 of 75 hard. I made it through the weekend. Last night, I didn't know if I was going to make it, literally. I didn't know if I was going to live or not, but I did. So we had our Christmas light training this week. And I went to a restaurant and I decided to eat something, and it did not agree with me. It didn't like me at all. And next thing I knew, it was coming out every end, and I hadn't read my 10 pages yet. And it was like 10:30 and I hadn't read my 10 pages yet. But you know what? I made it happen even when it wasn't easy. And so this is the book of the week, and I've ended up reading this, Buy Back Your Time. Now, I want to tell you something that I have never done. I have never read a book this big and made it all the way through it in less than 20 days. 22 days is how long it took me to read this book. And so this is one of the first books that I have read from cover to cover. And so I just wanted to show you that when you commit to things, you can do amazing things. And that is what it's all about. So Thursday, we had some great training. We had some amazing speakers. And this weekend, I didn't mean it to be this way, but every speaker talked about mindset. And I believe mindset is the number one thing that's going to help you grow your business. Because if you don't believe in yourself, this trick I'm going to tell you, you won't be able to do it either. So before we get to that, let me see who all we got in the comments. Of course, Mr. George Yost, how are you doing? Big time here. He was awesome. He came to one of my trainings 3 or 4 years ago. TC's, what's up? First time Mario is here. Mr. Brian Fletcher, how are you doing? Caesar, what's up? We got DJ with Liberty Power Wash. Super excited by now. I'm a fan of yours, and I just started a few weeks ago. Awesome. And so if you have any questions, Mario, make sure you put them in the comments, because it is definitely something I want you to help you and help you grow your business. I'm here, but not here. My mind is somewhere else. Congratulations. Jeremy Olson, what's up? Hello, fam from Missouri. S&P, salute. All right, so what is the one trick that got Don an extra $1,000 for this weekend? So the first night, we always go out to eat, or I always go out to eat with most of the people that are in our thing. And I just want to let you know something. When you come to one of my trainings, or you go to any training and you get offered to go out to eat, this is where you will get the best networking. And the networking is the most important thing you can do for your business. You will learn more in the networking than you will learn probably in the training. And so the first night, the first day of the Christmas light training, we had a guy, Brad, and he talked about mindset. And we hadn't really talked about pricing, because that actually came day 2 with Mr. Ryan Lee. But after dinner, there was only 6 or 7 of us went out to dinner, and Don was there. And so I got to start talking to Don and learning where he's from. And Don's from Toronto, Canada. And he's a young guy. He's 27, I think, 27, 29 in that age group. And he was talking about how he works 12, 14, 16 hours a week. He's very busy. He's overwhelmed. He has 1 to 2 employees, and he's like, I made $60,000 in the last couple months, and that's where I'm at. And so I basically said, you haven't made no money, and these are the reasons why you hadn't made no money. And I literally did it there, and because I always want to know what your average ticket is, what you're bringing in per week, what your man hour, and sometimes most people don't know what it is. And I'm like, you're literally not making any money. And so the first thing I told him is guess what? Can anybody guess what I told him he needed to do? I want to see who can get this first. Who can guess what I told him the very first thing he needs to do? And this trick will work with anybody. This isn't something that you have to believe, and I always get all of the excuses of, you can't get this in my area. Jason, you're crazy. There's no way people are going to buy that. And you know what? You're absolutely right. If you believe that you cannot get what I'm asking you to do, you're right. You won't believe it, because if you don't believe it, your customer will know right away that they don't believe it, right? Because if they don't believe it, you're not going to believe it. So who's believing it? You're just poofing it up there. And so what I told him is I said, you have to raise your prices. And here's the thing I love about Don. Don's like, well, what should I be? And so I started rattling off what he should be. This is what you should be for gutter cleaning. This is what you should be for window cleaning. And Dan Maddox was actually sitting right next to him. So Dan Maddox was sitting next to him, and I was across the table from him. And so this is what I told him is to raise your prices, because Dan was literally sitting right there with us, And so as I did it, he was sitting on his phone raising his prices to what I told him to raise his prices at. So Saturday comes along, yesterday, and Saturday comes along, and he told Dan, he didn't even tell me, he just told Dan. He's like, Dan, I did what you all told me to do, and I made an extra $1,000 that I would have never made if I didn't do what you two told me to do. And that is the amazing part about raising your prices. He made an extra $1,000. He didn't make $1,000. He made an extra $1,000 by raising his prices. And so he believed that he was giving a good deal, but he didn't know what his value was. He didn't understand his value. And a lot of you don't understand your value. And a lot of you don't even know what your costs are of how much it runs a business. And that's a whole nother aspect of it. A lot of times I give you all, I will give you ranges. So that way, at least I hope you can start off there, and usually you can be profitable in those areas. But a lot of times people are like, oh, well, I can't get that. And here's the deal. I asked him, I'm like, what was your close rate? And he's like, I'm about 95% close rate. I'm like, that right there tells me you're working. That is why you're working 14, 16 hours a day and not have any money, right? You're working a lot and you're not making any money. I have Dan here. Dan, he raised his prices. He used to start off cheap. And now, by him doing it, his average price is over $2,700, right? I got Rick Moosey. He's another one that he raised his prices, and he's up there. He's getting it higher and higher. I think he's up to $1,200, $1,300 a job. And that is the importance of why we raise our prices, right? Rick Moosey did twice as many jobs, that not last year but the year before, and he made $150,000. Last year he did half amount of jobs and made $300,000. This is the importance of raising your prices, understanding who your clientele is, and going after that clientele, because not everyone is your customer. A lot of times we think everybody has to be my customer, but I promise you it is not about everyone being your customer. And so that was an amazing feat to see this. We also have Marius there, who is our, that's where Romanian lettuce comes from, is what we found out. Actually, that is not where we asked him that, because he's from Romania. But that is not where romaine lettuce comes from. So with that, and I, Jason, as a person that is very smart about things and picks up really quick, asked him if he knew Spanish. He doesn't. He's Romanian. So that's all right. But you know what? I make mistakes too. I'm not perfect. And so that is okay. And that was not as an upsell. This was as just raising his prices, right? Raising his prices. Obviously, we want to do packages. We want to give value. We want to value load, value ladder it, whatever the fancy word is that you want to use. But these are things he just raised his prices because he was that low. He was doing gutter cleanings for under $100. I was like, you shouldn't be going out there for no less than $200-$300, because this is how you're going to be able to get those higher prices. So that is what it is. I knew Sam would like that. But it was really an amazing class this weekend. And the thing, I always love, because I always learn when I go. I might be speaking and I'll listen to all the other speakers and I still learn stuff. And that's the amazing thing about things that you can take back to your business. So Don took back $1,000 bonus that he took back just off of that one thing. So he already made back more than what he's going to spend for that class by coming to class, meeting us, getting in touch with other people, and that's the awesome thing. And so the other thing too is if you go to an event, make sure you're networking. Go eat dinner with people, because that's where you will learn. That's where you can grow. That's where you'll get challenged. And so that is what you should be doing, so that way you will keep growing your business. So what's something that's holding you back? What is something that's holding you back? A lot of times people think that you can't charge this or you can't get this in my area. I hear that so many times. That's one thing I hear over and over and over is Jason, you just don't understand. You can't get that in my area. And I call you are right, because if you believe that you can't get it there, then you're right. You will never get what you're worth there. And some of you don't know what you're worth, right? Some of you think I'm worth $20 an hour because that's what I got at my job. And with that attitude, that's wrong, right? Your worth is $300 to $400 an hour. Yes, you heard that right. Your worth is $300 to $400 an hour. And you can get that as just an old pressure washer. I know it's crazy, but you literally can. I know people that are doing it every day, and that's the awesome thing about it. I know people that are getting more than that. And so that is why I try to help you, to tell you that you're worth $300 to $400. Some of you are worth $500 and $600. You just got to ask for it, because if you don't ask for it, you will not get it. I promise you, you will not get it if you don't ask for it. And I understand you're not going to have a high close rate, but you know what? That's okay. If you don't have a high close rate, that is fine. I promise you, you won't go out of business because of it. So these are things that you have to understand. So here's the dangers of lowballing, right? Here's the dangers of low pricing. One, you're going to go out of business. Two, you can't have employees. When you do low pricing stuff, you will never get employees. I promise you, you'll never get employees, because you can't pay them. You can't pay them if you're not making money. And that's an important part of why we have to raise prices. And so the reason, this is how you have to do it. So how do you calculate what your true cost is? You need to go on an Excel sheet and write down every cost that you have. Write down every cost. If you use the same card, write down every cost that you have. So that way you can see how much it's costing you to run your business. And then the next thing I want you to do is the future cost. How much do you want to spend to get to this number? What admin, what technician, how much is that going to cost you? So that way you can start charging now what you would be if you had a full company. Because a lot of you have this mindset that it's just Jason, it's just me, I don't need nobody else. Instead of having a growth mindset of, hey, you know what, someday I want to have 2 technicians, someday I want to have a marketing guy, sometime in the future I want to have an office manager. Now we're going to start charging like we're paying all of these people, so that way we can start adding these people for us. So, if I want to do $1 million, I need to spend $100,000 in marketing. So what do I need to do to be able to do that? Now, you can go spend $100,000 in marketing. You could get $100 million in business, but you won't be able to probably do it because you don't have the systems. And so you got to learn the systems, grow with the systems. And these are things that you need to start looking at so you can keep growing your business. So make sure you know your numbers. Write every number down. All your cost, your cell phone, your gas for your pressure washer, the $500 when you go to Lowe's or Home Depot to pick up pressure washing parts to build your pressure washer, and then another $1,000 for another trip there. And there's just so many costs that keeps adding up, and that's why it is important that we know the cost of it. And then the importance of pricing for profit, right? What do we want to be with profit? What is profit? A lot of people are like, man, I profit 50%. Well, how much did you pay yourself? Well, I profit 50%. So you paid yourself and then you profited 50%. Well, no, I just take okay. So what you need to do is all those jobs that you do, all the 57 jobs that you do, marketing, leads, getting the phone to ring, answering the phone, doing the job, customer service, right? All of these jobs, you need to be paying yourself a salary for each of those jobs. So that way, when you go to hire them out, then you're paying it out. And then I bet your profit ain't much at the end of that, because when you're doing this is how you're going to make this happen for all of this here. And then here's the next thing. The myth, everyone is your customer. I promise you, everyone is not your customer. In fact, I would say most people are not your customers. I would say that most people are not your customers. Like, I've got clients that are doing 800,000. They're going to hit $1 million this year. 600,000, 800,000, 250,000, and their close rate is 30%, 35%. So it's not about closing every job. And most of those people that I talk that are in the high dollars, their average ticket is $1,500. $2,000, $2,500, right? Because it's not about everyone is your customer. So who is your customer? What does your customer look like? Is she a female, drives a minivan with 3 kids, lives in this neighborhood, goes to this church, right? When you know all of that, that makes you know who you need to go for, because then you can tailor your marketing toward that pinpointed person. And when you do that, you will get much better result than everybody's my customer. Everybody is my customer, and that is not a good thing to do. And then here's another one that gets a lot of you: poor financial management, right? It's money in, money out, and hope there's some left over. A lot of businesses work on this. Money in, money out, and I think I got some money left over, because you don't know your true cost. You don't know what it costing you to run your business. You don't know what your average ticket is. You don't know how much your close rate is, right? And if you don't know those numbers, then how the heck are you supposed to know, are you doing good, doing bad? But these are problems that you're going to have with this. So it is important to make sure that you know your numbers, because that is important. And then here's another way that you can get more money is making sure that you're doing your packages, right? Missed opportunities for additional services. Are you missing additional services? What if you could are you just offering them a house wash? Or when they call, are you offering them a house wash, a window cleaning, and a driveway cleaning? Are you offering them a $300 ticket, or are you offering them a $2,000 ticket? You need to try to figure out how to offer them a $1,500 to $2,000 ticket every time you get a quote. And this will help you get your average ticket up. It'll help you get a lot better for just growing your business. Because while you're there, why not make an extra $800,000 versus the $300 house wash? First off, you probably need to raise your prices on your house wash. You probably should be $400 or $500 as your minimum house wash, and then you can go up from there. And I know I'm going to get the haters of, you can't get that in my area. Jason, you're just crazy. You can't get that in my area. Right? And this is how we got to do it. We got to raise our prices. We got to go package A, B, and C, right? This is what it's all about. Package A, B, and C. Do you live in an area that you know you can get this? This is the other thing. So it's definitely something to make sure that you are doing this. I'm brand new, and I've been told, no, it's too much. Way more than yeses, and I've been doing packages. Okay, so what is your sales process, right? Well, if you're only if I've been saying 30 to 40%, you are going to get way more no's than yeses, right? You're going to get 3 times more no's than you are 3 times. You're only going to get 3 yeses out of 6 no's. So you are going to get 3 times more no's. So that's why it is important that you understand why you raise your prices, what you got to do to get it up there. And that's how you got to get it done. I didn't think I could get the prices I get today 3 years ago. Exactly, right? TC probably would have never guessed that he would have got what he got 3 years ago, right? Because he didn't believe what he had. Is he doing anything different than he did 3 years ago? No, he's doing the exact same thing. He's spraying bleach on a wall and it's cleaning it up, right? He's not doing nothing different. He's just but he didn't believe in it. Right? He didn't believe that he could get what he's getting now. You know, DJ, when he started, my buddy DJ, when he started 4 or 5 years ago, he was literally charging $159, $179. That same job right now is his minimum price is like $450 that he was doing for $150 for the exact same job, because DJ didn't believe in himself. DJ was one that did not believe in himself, right? And so he tried, and then finally he started raising his prices. And so that is the importance of why we raise our prices. All right, I'm going to go through comments. I seen you all been commenting a bunch here. So tell me your thoughts on what's holding you back from raising your prices. You know, we were eating dinner last night with Marius, and DJ was saying something, and DJ said he couldn't read the menu. And so we did talk a lot about mindset and believing in yourself and all of that. And it's probably would have been way more funny for you to be there, but Mario gave DJ his sunglasses and said, you just have to believe. And, you know, but some of it is you do just have to believe. I mean, you have to believe that you're an amazing person. Do you believe that you are the best of the best in your industry, in your area? Do you believe that? If you don't, so does your customers don't believe that either. So that's why you have to believe it. Because when you walk into a customer, especially if you're doing in-person quotes, and you walk into that customer and you don't believe in yourself, they're not going to buy from you, because you don't believe in yourself, and they're not going to believe in it. And if you don't think that they can't figure out that they don't see it, I promise you, they will find it out, and they will see it. They see right through it. When you're shaking and nervous and don't believe in yourself, or you're doing something with your hands, guess what? That's because you don't believe in it. So they don't believe in it. So that's why it's important. You have to believe in what you're selling. And I don't care if you're selling pressure washing, Christmas lights, lawn care. anything, you have to believe what you're selling. All right, let's see. Going to a $1,300 house wash in a high dollar Florida. Yeah, because you know what? I guarantee you there's people in his area that would do that house wash for $400 right now. You know how I know? Because when he started, Jason didn't believe in himself. Jason was believing all the yahoos of nobody, you can't get this in my area, because he started listening to all these competitors that aren't competitors because they're already out of business. You know what's cool about Jason Hefner of getting a $1,300 job that he would have probably never believed he could have got that when he first started is his big competitors that were charging shy of that, with not even charging that much, have went out of business. Because he was basing his prices off of these people that were going out of business, literally going out of business. He was basing his prices off of someone that was literally going out of business. And guess what? He did $250,000 last year. Part-time, because he's a full-time firefighter and he don't work every Saturday and Sunday. He takes those days off, and he only works those days unless he's got enough, he makes enough to go to Disney and do everything there. So that is the important key of understanding of, don't care what your competitors. Only I want you all to write this in the comments so you will start believing it. And if you need to write it 20 times for you to believe it is you are your only competitor. You have no other competitors. You need to compete against you. Hey, you know what? Last month we had a $450 average ticket, like George O's put down there for something. How can I get my average ticket up more next month? How can I get it up more next month? That is what you need to compete with. Hey, my close rate is at 32%. How can I get it to 33%? That is what you need to compete with, is you, not everybody else. Because literally Jason called all of these people and most of them have went out of business. That's not, if you don't believe me, you can ask him. Most of his competitors went out of business that he was basing his prices on in the beginning. So that is why it is important. And Jason was one that when he first called me, he's like, you can't get those prices here. And I said, believe in the process and follow the process. That's all I'm going to tell you. His close rate's around the 30% range, but he did $250,000 last year. That's not too shabby. My ghetto mindset, but no longer. You know, and here's the thing, Jamie. You need to even quit saying you're ghetto. And I need to quit because you are telling your mind that you have a ghetto mindset, right? You're telling your mind. You need to say that, hey, start talking positive about yourself. Because every time you say you're literally telling your brain that you still have it. So you got to talk positive. And I know it's kind of stupid and creepy and whatever, but it will help you. Greetings, Mr. Tristan. Tristan listened to me. He comes on every Monday night. Did you know? You know what? If you come every Monday night, I will guarantee you will learn. I will almost guarantee that you will be in some of these same people here where they are at right now. Tristan did very well for himself. He's buying his third apartments settings. I think he said it's supposed to be done in a couple weeks. You know what? He's done it. Dan, Jason Hefner. These are the people that show up on Monday night. If you want to show up, go check out kingofpressurewash.com, join, and show up on Monday night. That's the most important part you can do, is to show up on that Monday night, because that is where you learn and that is where you grow. Sometimes I struggle with charging more because the phone is not ringing and my guys may not have work. And they also have bills. Yep. And here's the thing. This is why we have to charge more in April, May, and June. So we got a nest egg so we can keep them running in the rest of the year. Because if we don't charge enough here in April, May, and some of June, when we know that it's going to be busy, when slow time comes down, now we ain't got no money for them to keep them busy or keep them being able to pay them at a certain rate. Because we didn't charge enough here, now we're stuck over here. And so that is why it is important. And here's the deal. June, July, and August, this is why I've been harping on you need to get your commercial work in April, May, and June, and not be so balls to the wall on residential of trying to just get that and not commercial work, because you want to push your commercial work to June, July, and August, because we all know it's not no big surprise. It's not like, ooh, surprise, because I've been there many times. I had 3 trucks going, and I would get to Friday, and I'm like, well, we ain't got nothing on the books for next week. And then Monday comes along and the phone blows up and we were good. And that happened to us several times. But there's been times that it didn't, and they only got 2 or 3 days that week, because that is what happens with being a business owner. And if we don't plan for June, July, and August, when it gets slow, and it will get slow, I promise you it will get slow. So what do you do when it gets slow? You go out there and you start knocking on commercial doors. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, do you need any pressure washing? Right? You start knocking on those commercial doors that you should have been hitting way back then, doing LinkedIn, doing all those things. But you can go start flipping rocks and see what kind of rocks you can get. Tristan, king of the capstone. Mr. Bearded in the house. F-bomb, drive safe, my brother. Keep your head up. Man, you know where you'll find me if you need me. Let's see. Everyone can start off as your customers, but with my close rate now is 33%. So what's that tell you? Not too many are my customers. That's exactly right. So you're at 33%. That's about, if you're in the higher prices, that's where you're going to be at. It's not what job you close. It's how much you close. Cheap customer headache. Your client's amazing. And you know what? You will find out that the cheap customers that you should have charged way more than you didn't are your worst customers. And here's the thing. It takes just as much effort to get a cheap customer as it does to get a client that you want. It takes just as much effort. It just takes just as much effort to get a $200 customer as it does to get a $2,000 customer. So why not go after the $2,000 customers? April was at $8,600 income. Nice. I didn't think I could get these prices I get 3 years ago. May is 9,000. June was slow. And June is going to be slow, and July and August are going to be slow. It's just June, July, and August. People go on vacation, and they're not thinking about pressure washing. They're thinking about vacation. They're thinking about their kids. They're thinking about all that kind of stuff. Customers, just a couple hours ago, went with me. I was at 325. I was 325 more than the other guy. And you know what? This is an amazing thing, right? Because you will hear, oh, there's my competitors are cheaper. Okay. Do they know how to sell their value? Do they know how to sell at all? He's $325 more and got it. So when you say the cheaper guy gets it, that's not always the case. So that's a great point there. I've got a pressure washer. I'll do it myself. And that's when you say, awesome. Well, when you get halfway done and you don't look good, call me and I'll come do it for you. 300, 3 years ago, same house today, $700. This right here is what I'm talking about, right? There's nothing changed in 3 years. He's using the same bleach that he used 3 years ago. He's using the same products and stuff that he's using 3 years ago. In fact, he was probably using a smaller pressure washer and taking twice as long to do it as he was 3 years ago as he is today, and making $700 and doing it in half the time. That's the amazing part about it. Fear of missing payroll is holding me back from hiring. Yep. And it's just being a business owner. You just got to do it. You got to not be fearful. You just got to go with it. I've spent $700 in Google Ads, have Google reviews, pictures, videos, Facebook posts, currently getting my website done through Footbridge, yet the jobs I've gotten have been door to door. And I'm going to tell you right now, the website ain't going to get you anything either. It ain't going to get you nothing. And I would tell you, I would be putting yard signs out. Either going door to door or yard signs. In the beginning, yes, Google ads are okay, but I wouldn't be going crazy on them. They don't work now. Google LSA, I would go crazy on them. Local search ads, I would do way more on those. I wouldn't do Google ads. I would do Google local search ads, and you know, a website ain't gonna make you no better here. It ain't gonna get your jobs coming. Go put you some yard signs out and thank me later. The industry exploded in my area this year. Curious to see how many make it. It does every year. Doing a bid on 32 windows and 5 skylights tonight. Bone Island websites are the long haul. Yep. That's a 2 to 3, 4 year down the road is websites. And with AI, it's going to be interesting, is the only thing I've got to say. It's going to be interesting. Big Rob, same over here in Little Rhode Island. Trust me, your ideal client does not think $2,000 is a lot of money. Dan said training last week was the best training he's ever been to. That's awesome. Finished up a $2,400 house wash and roof wash this weekend. That's right. I am my only competitor. Get to know the customer's why. Helps with upselling. Oh, you're having a party. When we come to do your house wash, you would get the black off the driveway, make your window sparkle. Exactly. This here is huge. You know, a lot of times, especially if you go in person quoting and you're talking 75% of the conversation, you're losing out. You might as well not even go in person. And if you don't know if you're talking 70% of the time, videotape yourself. Videotape yourself, transcribe it, and then see who's talking. Because when you find out the why, this is the most important part. It might be why the wife is mad because she's been nagging at me for 6 months or 6 years or whatever. And so the why is important. In fact, the why here, and this here, the why, get to know the why, needs to be capitalized and exclamation pointed a bunch, right? Because this here is the most important part of the whole thing, of understanding your customer. Know why you're out there. You know, this here, again, get to know your customer's why in big, bold letters is important, because that is what's going to help you sell that job, help you get higher pricing. Customers will see right through your BS and not knowing how to answer loaded questions or simple questions, or being able to explain the process. Fake it, make it BS knowledge, and learn is power. Yep, go learn. Thank you for the super chat. That's not all true. Many call me to try to sell, or other employees called looking for work. You should only get complete against yourself at the end of the day. There is no doubt you will win. Sat down for 30 minutes in a customer living room, drank the root beer, and only talked about the job for 10 minutes. And he closed an extra $325. And you know what? This here, we actually had this conversation on our Monday Night Marketing this past week of, if you can get to their kitchen table, you're going to close the job. And if they offer you a drink, you take it, because this is important. So he sat down for 30 minutes in the customer room and talked to the customer for 20 minutes and 10 minutes and drank root beer and closed the job that a competitor quoted $325 cheaper. Now, is the competitor probably going to clean it just as good as Ethan? Probably. Is the competitor going to use the same chemical as Ethan? Probably. Is the competitor going to use the same pressure washer as Ethan? Probably. So, this is the importance of sitting down, building that relationship, understanding the why, and this is how you close higher jobs. This is how you close higher jobs. It's not about going in there and spewing all about this pressure washing and blah, 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 blah. I use this and I do that and I do this and I do that. Because everybody does that. Every one of them. Everybody. Now, they might not know the terminology, but we know that 69% of the people are type S personalities, and a type personality loves to build relationship, right, with people. So that's the importance of it. That's how you're able to get that higher job. $4,500 average, last 3 jobs, roof, home package, show your value, believe in yourself, landed a $5,800 slate roof. Jason is right. Be the authority of your market. You know, and again, this is what's important. This is how you're able to do it. Just go out there and get it done. What's up? Big time. I understand that what you're saying, but I no longer have a ghetto mindset. The reason why I say I use ghetto is because other people, it will catch their attention, other ghetto people. Inspiration, social proof. Sure. Lost a big one Friday due to no lifts available to rent. Landed at Costco gas station today. Just use a ladder. Did 100 flyers today promoting a free lawn service with pressure washing job. My plan is to sell a reoccurring landscaping and charge 3 to 6 months up front as an upsell. Any thoughts? I would say pick one and go with it is what I would say. I would say you either lawn care or you're pressure washing and go with it. Because when you're trying to, right now, you're trying to throw a bunch of mud on the wall to see what sticks. And I understand that. But you got to pick one, because you're not picking one. You're going to probably, you got your focus everywhere. That's the problem with it. I joined King of Pressure Wash last week. Here I come. Yes, the ghetto's in the building. Sweet. And then you get to meet people like Daniel in there, because Daniel's in there. Daniel ain't a pressure washer. But Daniel did 175,000 in Christmas lights, and he's going to do $500,000 this year in Christmas lights. I'm just going to say it out there. Just get it out there. You got to start believing it. You got to start visioning it. You got to see what that looks like as $500,000. Yard signs, baby. We love yard signs. When you go door to door, do you take your setup with you? I mean, it's going to be parked, is what it's going to be. And it depends on what it looks like. If it don't look very good, I'm not going to be taking it with me. Hello from New Zealand. How are you doing, Andrew? How long of hose should you go? I'm doing a lot of fencing now on big lots. Should I go back to a 4-gallon on those jobs? Are you using a downstream injector, or are you just spraying pressure? If you're using a downstream injector, you will hit a limit that it won't pull no more, because once you hit about 300, 350, the friction loss in the hose will overcome the downstream injector and won't put anything in the downstream injector. If you're not using a downstream injector and you're just pressure washing, then you can go as long as you want. I hired for a website and SEO about 7 months ago. I have 42 reviews, over 100 Google pics. I post pics every day, and the post on Google 2 to 3 times a week. How long does it take? For website traffic to come in. Well, it should be coming in, but that's all I'm going to say about that. I don't like. Um, there's people on here that letting if I don't know if they'll hop in here or not. They'll tell you about Footbridge. I'm not going to say anything about it. 2 years ago, Albert, maybe longer. Yep. Website is the long game, in my opinion. Footbridge is a short-term shortcut ripoff. See, I didn't even have to say nothing. Didn't even have to say it. I might have read it out, but that's all I did. I just read it out. I didn't even have to say it. So, again, guys, don't be afraid to take action. Go out there, and I get it. It's slow right now, and it slows down for everybody this time of year. You know, when I started to go after working with employees and stuff, one thing I did is, and I hated it, and I only did it for 1 or 2 seasons, was deck cleaning and sealing. And so I did it in June, July, and August because I was slow and I needed money. And so I did the sealing. Now, I know Jeremy's actually doing sealing and he likes doing it. And there's a great money in it. I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm just saying that I hated it. There's a lot of things that can go wrong on deck sealing. And we had a $10,000 clean and seal job that we did. And the wife didn't like the color the husband picked out. I mean, it can be stupid things as that. We had sealer drip down on the little rocks that was only 3 feet off the deck that dropped down on the rocks. I had to go flip out over rocks because they complained about it. So there's just a lot of things that can go wrong in there. And the biggest thing I would say is don't get discouraged because it's June, July, and August. It's going to slow down. If you want more work, then you got to go out there and get it. It's going to be hard through June, July, and August. If you haven't done your hopefully September it picks back up. Last year, September didn't pick up. Last year it went pretty hard. But hopefully this year is what we need. Hopefully, usually in the past, the end of August, September, and October usually picks back up. And so that's when we do Christmas lights in November. So if you haven't done Christmas lights, that's when you do Christmas lights in November to get through those months. But June, July, and August usually slow down. August, the reason why they have the huge convention in August is because it slows down. It just slows down. It's just the way it is. You know, I know one person had an $85,000 month last month, and they're looking to have about a $40,000 month in June. It slows down. It just does. So I know Jason, when he first started his second year or third year, he was like, June, July, and August, I'm shooting for 0. And anything above that is bonus. And that's what happens, right? So it is definitely important to understand that June, July, and August slow down. So just get through these months. You know, you can do marketing. I would still probably do yard signs. You know, that's where I would probably be at. But it's just one of those things that you got to look at. I'm looking at a surface cleaner to my 6 gallon a minute. Are the cheapies any good to start with? The what are they called? The ones aren't bad. The ones that are half price of Whisper Wash. I can't think of the name of them. I'll think of it here, or somebody will help me think of it. I was slow every year in June, not this year. Well, that's awesome. $10 a square foot for deck, still waiting for a yes. Had some excitement today. Did a fence job at a bank because they were closed. 4 cop cars come flying in. Apparently, they got a call. I was wondering what the heck was going on. That's funny. One time, we were in downtown Cincinnati. We were cleaning this concrete down here, and yeah, that's the name of the surface cleaning. BE. Thank you. I knew somebody would tell me. And we were in downtown Cincinnati, and it wasn't a very nice area at all. Like, it was the hood was where Jamie Ghetto was, it was over, like we could see it. And we were working till dark. It was right at dark. And here comes all these cops. And we're like, oh crap, what's happening? They went all in that area. And we're like, we're getting out of here as fast as we can. And we got out of there. So, BE. Time to make a trip to Miami myself. Gonna be fun to say the least. Why are you going to Miami for? Going to Miami. But other than that, if you haven't checked out King of Pressure Wash, go check it out. You'll meet people like Tristan, comes every Monday night. Dan comes every Monday night. Lindy comes every so often. All kinds of awesome people come that are growing their business, that are taking action, and there's about 25 to 30 people that show up every week. That all, originally when I did this Monday night call, originally it was for new people just to ask questions and stuff like that, but it's turned into a lot more than that. And if you're new, you can ask the questions that you think are dumb, and we will answer those questions also, because that's how they all grow. And honestly, if you ask more questions than Tristan, then if you can, the goal is to ask more questions than Tristan does. And if you can ask more questions than Tristan does, I will guarantee you will grow your business. Because Tristan comes with 25 questions every Monday night. But if you want to be able to grow your business, you got to come out with 26 to beat him with questions. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Even if that you might think they're dumb, there is no dumb question. The only dumb question is the question that you don't ask. Jason, are you going to Trudy's event? I haven't been asked yet, so I don't know if I am or not. And she's having it at a weird time, too. That's kind of my Christmas light season. I don't know why she moved it to November. I got pulled over by a policeman once, wondered what I had done wrong. He wanted a quote, power of signs on a van. General Pump is another one too, but BE is kind of the main one that people always use on that surface cleaner. But again, go check out King of Pressure Wash. Also, I have some dates coming up of pressure washing. I think this link works. KPW Train. I have in-person training coming up. I have several coming up, actually. I've put them on the calendar. So if you want to go check them out, KPW Train. Nobody can ask more questions than Tristan. That's a bold statement right there. Bold statement. That is a bold statement. But again, Dan comes. All these awesome guys come. That's what's awesome. The big friendly giant Dan. There is no stupid questions Monday night. Only stupid mistakes from not asking questions. Yep. So again, go check out King of Pressure Wash and find out more about that. But other than that, I hope you all have a great week this week. July 4th is coming around faster than you know it. So you can use that to sell. Hey, are you having a 4th of July party? We can get you cleaned up. You can use it in some of your marketing. Put it in some of your stuff for marketing. Get your stuff cleaned up before July 4th. Parties, whatever you want to hit on. These are all things that you can do for that. But challenge accepted. That's a big challenge to accept. But other than that, I hope you all have... anyone use a deck brush to aggregate chemical on a deck before rinsing? If you do, I would probably get a hard, stiffer brush, like a broom kind of, to do it. Next week it is on. So Monday night, hope to see you all there. Other than that, we'll see you all later.